Good morning. I hope your evening went well. It was a lovely one here in Wichita, 75 degrees yesterday afternoon. So warm, and that I washed out the last snowstorm remnants from my garage and off my driveway. So here we are. We left yesterday's market saying we'd probably find selling in the overnight market because of the 10-year auction. And the normal model for dealers: up on the short end, down on the intermediate, up on the long end. So the 10-year paper is always the most suspect. So structurally, we have this breakout from 16. Got this last rotate down at 18. We're here at 22. So the market's come off quite a bit. They still have to move the paper, so we're going to make 26, 17 by 1. Really leaning against this breakout area. And then we'll make 9 to 13 by 2. Stock market, if it rallies today, can pressure the financials up to a point, but it can't break it because they got to move this 10-year paper. And the market is controlled by the Fed and the 5 primary dealers. And taking it down to increase the yield for the purchasers is the easiest way to do it. We've got volume at 28. We've got volume up at 03. So this 28 area to 04 is prime resistance. So this first place we have volume is at 27. So 27.31 is sell 1. Really more interested in the buy side than the sell side because of the 10-year auction, but quite often the buying to turn this market around doesn't come until an hour before the auction on the 10 years. So we probably do have a pretty good short in the market. At least one of them. So the buy area right down here, obviously 17, leaning against this breakout. 17 would be the ideal place to get long. But we've come from 27.06 to 26.22. We've had a half point off the high, so we're getting into an area where some people are going to think about buying it. Do like the long side better than the short because of the auction, like I said, but the market is selling right now, so I think we've got one selling, and if we can't take out the overnight low, if we can't bust 16, we want to trade from the long side. Not much news to drive today's trading. Got Treasury budget. I've seen anywhere from minus 187 to 192, so we'll make it 190. And crude inventories, looking for the EI report for it to grow 4.5 million barrels. So, no news. Overnight news. China's numbers for retail industrial production, for retail sales growth, and for fixed asset investment, all were well below the forecast. Hong Kong sold. China's market rallied off of that. Go figure. So the only stock market that sold overnight was Hong Kong's. And the commentary doesn't make sense if you were to think about it. Quite often that is the case. They have to print something. The European markets were up a lot. The focus are the Greek talks. Greece cannot continue doing what they've been doing. They've got to make some real changes. Greece is being quiet, talking around it, hoping to get the money without having to make real changes, but the talk is we're prepared for Greece to leave the European Union. And that's probably the best thing for Greece, but it would talk about a washout and talk about structural changes and talk about people working for the government shrinking significantly, talk about unions not getting paid what they have. But that's usually what has to happen when you turn something around from this. You're bankrupt, you're wiped out, you start with a clean slate, and you rebuild, and it takes about a generation to do it, but you can actually rebuild. as opposed to the slow death that Greece is in right now. Nobody likes to take that step. So today they're talking once again. If the announcements come out that there's been a deal, Greece will actually start to change some things. Good for the European economy, or better. That could be supportive for equities and for financials in Europe, the European paper. And the talk right now is that before the European Central Bank's quantitative easing is over, all European paper will be trading at a negative interest rate. That would be interesting. So here we are at 11. We've got volume at 14. We've got volume over here at 24. So the 16 to 24 area is probably pretty good resistance. Some money has come out. 3/32 has come out of the knob spread from yesterday's close. So not a lot of heavy-duty selling. So right here, looking at where we are, we got resistance starting at 20. Probably as high as 28 this morning. I do think there's one short left in the market, so we'll make 19 to 23, sell 1, 27 to 31, sell 2. Really like the long side better. Got this low over here at 6. The low volume number is at 02. The overnight session high is low as 7, so we'll make 1 to 5. May have to pay 9s to get in. Don't know, but we're going to try to buy on the cheap. 1 to 5, and then 25 to 29 down below. And if the knob spread sells, we'll probably won't have trouble getting to these numbers. One of the articles that I put up, which is a read for later, it's about a gentleman's book about chaos, the political chaos that's being introduced by politicians right now to maintain their grasp and hold on power or to increase it. And once you open the floodgates a little bit here, a little bit there, and the rest of it, can you really control what's going to happen beneath the dam, and can you actually go back and shut those floodgates? So pretty interesting article, not one that should be read right now, but right now this Piven, and the other name was a C, they talk, and it was they were really pretty instrumental in the thinking of politics in the 60s on how you break a system down by introducing chaos, public disrest, and the rest of it. And obviously the way that you jump in and take control is through martial law and through imposing that on a population. But can you really do that? And can you start all this stuff around the globe and heat the Middle East up and heat parts of Southeast Asia up and then bring it all back under control on your schedule and still benefit from it? That's pretty hard to do. So save that one for later. But this chaos that we see around the globe it's in all markets, and especially in currencies. Currencies can fail overnight, banks can fail overnight, governments can fail overnight. And what we're seeing in these currencies are that when a country takes itself off the peg to the euro, that currency rallies, but what it was spread against doesn't. And so you're exposed to significant losses. And if you use the leverage of futures, Cloward and Piven. If you use the leverage of futures, you can really dig yourself a huge hole. So gold, we came out yesterday basically wanting to sell the 63.65 area. The overnight session high was 64. That was a pretty good call. We had a 55, 57 buy, and if you brought them in, you'd look pretty halfway smart. I think gold's going to go a little bit lower, but support is 55, 57. So more interested in the 50, 52 area as a buy, but we got to get through 55 to get there. So we'll leave 63.65 as it was last night, 68.70 as it was from yesterday morning. 55.57 is the first buy. It is support. And 50.52 for the second. The euro just got smashed again, off 12% so far this year to the dollar. That will cause problems for the United States, and the reason is that probably about 30% of our GDP is tied to exports in some way, shape, or form through trade. So a little bit of recovery right here would be expected. 106 is the first place it has to get through, so this 106.15 to 25 area picks up this area right in here, and then our 40 to 50 picks up this area right up in there. And that's based on the assumption that we can at least get above 106 off some sort of short covering as the day session comes in. If we can't get through 106 this morning, you just really have to stay short. 75 is buy one. And that's been working out pretty well for us. And then 50 is buy two. But it's not going to take too long to get to parity, which is where everybody thinks it's going to go, to the dollar. Futures don't screw around. I mean, they move much faster. And this is why you can't be a deer in the headlight. You cannot let, you can wipe out a whole year's worth of trading profits in one trade. We've all had that happen to us. You want to stay away from that trade that has your name on it. So you got to have capital to trade. And what you see is that you make a lot of small winners and you get a great big loss when you first start out. And you rebuild it and you almost get back to break even, but you can't. So you're a little bit in the hole. And then you get the winners that took you almost to break even, then you get another big loss and you got a deeper hole. And you refund the account until you learn how to take small losses. And that's the key. Okay, 48 even, 48.25 is buy one. 47.50, 47.75 is buy two. Looking for a build of 4.5 million barrels. Last night APIs, they were looking for a build of 4 million barrels, and it drew 400,000 barrels. So that has added some uncertainty to it. Looking structurally right here, basically 49 and a quarter. So we're at 48, so 75 to 49 is sell one. That's where resistance. We don't have a lot of trouble getting to our number 2 points. Last rotate up yesterday was 70. So 49.50 to 75 if we blow through 49. Getting short against 50, I think, is probably a pretty good trade. 48 and a quarter to 49. 50s, 120 ticks, 75 takes us to 150 ticks. We expect the trading range to be 150 ticks. So we can't break this low at 49.75 is prime sell territory. Okay, China and Japan's markets were up. Europe is up a bunch. It was automobile profits. I think we're looking for a couple of food companies to report earnings today, so not a lot going on our stock market. So short covering rally would be one way to explain it. A relief rally coming off the bottom right here. If we cannot bust through this low volume area that we have right here, this 53 to basically 59, so our 55, 57, then this market can sell. And obviously, if we can't get through 50, this market can sell. So we're going to try 54, 56. That's where you can see there was a lot of activity and splitting yesterday. Sell one, that's where resistance is. It may take a 50, 52. I don't know. No news to drive the trading. You would think that we would get a little more rally with what's going on in Europe, but we haven't gotten it yet. So, but the stage is set for a rally. So that's the way we'll have to play it. On the buy side, last trade's 48. Overnight session's low is like 42. Yesterday's low is 40. So getting stops below this. Buy one may take a 45 to get in. We'll just have to see that our 35, 37 for buy two. So we're going to play for stops outside the overnight session high and overnight session low. Based on what happened in Europe, etc., I would think this market would be a little bit higher. So we're going to put a question mark by 45. Okay, that's it. It'll take at least 20 minutes to get everything up. I got to write the body of the commentary and get everything up and posted. I'll see you as fast as I can.